Ed Begley Jr.'s tears. I held her hand until my last breath. The lights of Hollywood dimmed this week as Ed Begley Jr., one of the industry's most beloved character actors, broke his silence to share his final, heartbreaking moments with his lifelong friend, Diane Keaton. After decades of laughter, collaboration, and unshakable friendship, Begley's trembling voice carried through his interview like the sound of a heart slowly breaking. She was more than a friend, he said softly. She was the light that made everything around her brighter. A friendship written in time. Ed Begley Jr. and Diane Keaton met in the early 1970s, when Hollywood was a whirlwind of new faces and untamed dreams. Keaton was the quirky, fearless young actress fresh from The Godfather, while Begley was carving his path through television and stage. Over the years, their bond deepened beyond the glitz and glamour. They were often seen laughing at events, attending charity galas side by side, or simply walking together through Beverly Hills, coffee cups in hand. She had that warmth, Ed recalled. Even when the world was loud and cruel, she could silence it with one laugh. Their friendship endured marriages, heartbreaks, career highs, and painful lows. They shared scripts, secrets, and memories no camera ever captured. But in recent months, their laughter grew quieter. The final days Diane Keaton's health had quietly declined over the past year, something only her closest friends knew. Ever private, she chose not to publicize her illness. That was Diane, Ed said, his eyes wet. She never wanted pity. She wanted people to remember her for her joy, not her pain. When her condition worsened, Ed visited her almost daily. Some days she'd be too weak to talk, he said, so I'd just sit there, holding her hand, watching old movies she loved. On the last day he saw her, Diane was lying near the window of her Los Angeles home, the sunlight spilling across her face. She looked peaceful, he whispered, like she was already halfway to heaven. As Ed leaned closer, Diane turned her head, smiled faintly, and whispered something he says will echo in his soul forever. Thank you for staying until the end. Don't cry, Eddie. I'm not leaving, I'm just changing rooms. Moments later, her hand loosened in his, and the room fell silent. Hollywood mourns a legend. When news of Diane Keaton's passing spread, tributes poured in from across the world. Meryl Streep called her a miracle of sincerity. Al Pacino said, simply, there was no one like her, and there never will be. But for Ed Begley Jr., the loss was something beyond words. The world lost an icon, he said. But I lost my family. He admitted that in the days following her death, he found it impossible to return to work. I'd pick up the phone to call her, he said, and then I'd remember she's not there. That kind of pain, it doesn't fade overnight. The legacy of laughter and love despite his grief. Ed says he's found comfort in remembering Diane the way she would have wanted, through laughter. She never let sadness win, he said. She'd make a joke even when things were falling apart. He recalled one of their last full conversations. She told me to promise that I'd keep laughing. She said, if you stop, I'll haunt you. But in a funny way. That was Diane. Always humor, even at the edge of goodbye. In the weeks before her passing, Diane had been writing letters, small notes to friends, co-stars, and even fans who had sent her messages of love. In Ed's letter, she wrote, thank you for walking beside me through the quiet years. You reminded me that friendship is life's most sacred script, unrehearsed, imperfect, but beautiful. He keeps that letter folded in his wallet. It's my compass now, he said. Whenever I feel lost, I read her words. And somehow I know where to go, remembering the woman behind the legend for millions. Diane Keaton was the charmingly eccentric Annie Hall, the unforgettable Kay Corleone, the timeless storyteller. But for Ed, she was a soul who gave more love than she ever took. He recalled the last photo they took together, both of them laughing so hard they could barely stand straight. That's how I'll remember her, he said. Alive, wild, unfiltered, and free. Her passing has left a silence that Hollywood will take years to fill. Yet, through Ed Begley Jr.'s memories, the world has been reminded of the tenderness and humanity that defined Diane Keaton, not just as an actress, but as a friend. A confidant, a light that refused to dim. A final goodbye. At a small, private memorial in Los Angeles, Ed spoke one last time about his dearest friend. His voice broke, but his words were steady. You taught me how to love people for who they are, not who the world wants them to be. And even now, I can still hear your laughter in every corner of my heart. The audience stood in silence, many wiping away tears. As the ceremony ended, Ed placed a single yellow rose, Diane's favorite, on the stage floor and whispered, "See you soon, my friend." And as he walked away, the cameras captured the moment, a man saying goodbye to the woman who had been the truest constant in his life. Because sometimes, love doesn't vanish when someone leaves, it lingers, reshaping the air, living forever in the stories we tell. She's still here, Ed Begley Jr. said softly. Just not where I can touch her.